Hi everyone, Dr. Partha Nandi. Thank you for joining us today. And listen, it's an amazing day today for a lot of us. Who see the snow so many months of the year. It's again a lovely day, and it's a great day to talk about mental health. Right? There's so many people, both in the U.S. and around the world, who suffer every day from not having great mental health. And every time I talk to a patient that their family member is suffering from mental health disorders. Every time I see a suicide, it's a reminder that this is such a crisis in our country and the world. And this is the month to talk about mental health. And to me, it's every month, every day we got to talk about it because it's such an important thing. And today, I'd like to be able to connect the gut and how you can optimize your mental health through your gut. Right? We're talking about the gut. I'm a gastroenterologist. Love to be able to talk to you guys about how can we change your gut to be able to make your mind optimal, whether you're suffering from mental health problems, whether you have family members that suffer from mental health problems, or if you just have brain fatigue and you can't be alert. What can you do? So we learned more than a century ago that there are bugs in your gut, right? So today I'll talk about how those bugs in the gut affect the brain. I'll also talk about this thing called the gut brain axis, the connection between the gut and your brain. I'll tell you ways in which you can optimize your gut health and your mental health, right? And then sum it up by important points to keep in mind. So I'll jump right into it. Again, thank you for joining us. I know you could be doing a lot of different things, and so I'm happy that you guys are joining us today. So again, more than a century ago, we realized that there are bugs in our gut, in our mouth, and even in our skin that really can affect our health. And when we learned that, we said, okay, what can we do with it? Now we know that there are ideas and techniques that can really change. Right? Over the past 15 years, we have learned that these bugs in our gut, these gut bacteria, are capable of producing substances that can affect cells in our body. We know about drugs, right? We know about drugs that can improve your mood. We all know about antidepressants. We all know about all kinds of illicit drugs that people take to help their mood, right? But we now know that your own gut can release substances that can uplift you or maybe even downlift you, meaning that make you not feel as good. And so how is it that bugs in your gut can affect the brain? Well, these substances that are made in the gut by your bacteria can get into the blood. Get just like food and nutrients. When you eat I don't know, whatever you like to eat, it goes into your gut, and then it gets absorbed and goes into your bloodstream. The same thing can happen, right? These products in your gut actually can go right into your brain, and the gut bacteria can stimulate your immune system. Can you imagine that? Right? It's one of the most complex immune systems in your entire body, and it's in the wall of the gut. And those cells that create it, immune cells, can then send signals to your brain, and those signals can then change your immune system, and it can change the way your body reacts to certain stimuli. So when you can increase the diversity, meaning that more bacteria you have, more stuff you have, bugs in your gut, the better off you are. The less diversity you have in your gut, the worse off you are, right? So less diversity is not as good. So have more fruits and vegetables, not just one kind, but plenty of it. So again, hey, if you're watching today and you enjoy what you're listening to, please share this. This is how we can really use the power of social media, the power of these lives to be able to, hey, say, you know what, we want to be able to have others look at this. We have all these posts that are viral about crazy things that are not always helpful or useful. But I think this, if you think this is useful, let's make it viral. Let's make it go to other folks that may be benefiting from this, right? And research in the past decade, talking about our topic, showed that gut bacteria can actually influence our emotions. One of the things I tell my kids, right, is that your thoughts may not be your own, right? Think about, you think that your thoughts are the most personal things that you have. However, it may not be influenced by what you think is personal. It may be influenced by the bugs that are creating substances or other things that are causing substances that allow your body and your cells in your brain to connect. So remember, a thought is what? Two cells in your brain sharing electrical impulse and making a thought. So we know now that bacteria and your gut can actually change your emotions and cognitive abilities. We're talking about mental health today, right? We talk about mental health and people who are having depression, people are having anxiety, people are having all of the above, right? How can we change that? We now know that your gut can change your emotions, can change your emotional state. So important to know that. Some bacteria make something called oxytocin, very important hormones that our bodies produce that can encourage, for example, social behavior. So people say, well, Billy is naturally shy. Well, how about this? How can we then change? We can possibly change Billy's behavior by changing his gut. We would never think that even 20 years ago. But now we know if we can change your gut health, we can make you a little bit more social. Isn't that amazing? Right? If you're in a place where you think, "Wow, I just wish I could be more social," you may be able to change that by changing your gut health. And some bacteria make substances that can cause symptoms of depression and anxiety. We're constantly thinking about ways to be able to fight it, right? With drugs, sometimes alcohol, sometimes illicit drugs. And now we know, hey, you know what? Maybe you can change the health of your gut to affect that. Amazing stuff, right? When you can change the health of your gut, less side effects, much less costly too, right? You don't have to go and get your insurance plan to approve that. It is, to me, right, less drugs and more health through natural ways. So if you're talking about your gut, you can do simple things to make that happen. And I'll talk about that later on in this live. But the gut bacteria, we know now, also has been shown to really change our vulnerability, our ways of being able to get certain brain diseases, including Alzheimer's, right? We have millions of folks. One of the biggest things people fear is Alzheimer's. So Alzheimer's disease, you can have an increased risk, right, of having Alzheimer's, Parkinson's disease, autism, multiple sclerosis. Now, we have a substance called synuclein, Synuclein. My team will put that up. And that's been shown that it's been found in the brains of people who have Parkinson's disease. And it's made by gut bugs and can travel via nerves into the brain, right? And imagine that. If you can have this product that you can reduce, perhaps we can fight this devastating disease. I'm sure many people who are watching and listening will know somebody who's been affected by Alzheimer's or Parkinson's, right? So patients with depression, bipolar disorder, schizophrenia, even devastating disease, have been shown to have significant changes in their gut microbiome. What that means in English is that they have stuff in their gut, bugs, these trillions of bugs. They're different when you have bipolar disorder, depression, or schizophrenia. Isn't that amazing? Because that tells you that you can be a health hero. And what's a health hero? We talk about that every day. The health hero is someone who then can change your health and your life by doing something you control, right? You put your own body and its health as the number one goal. And when you do that, you can change how you get certain diseases, including diseases of the mind. So we're talking about mental health. Folks who are just joining us, we're talking about how gut health influences mental health. Recent research has shown that this is just this February in JAMA showed that people with a more robust or more diversity in your gut bugs, right, are likely to perform well on tests. Amazing. Tests of standard thinking skills, including increased attention, flexibility, and self-control and memory. People spend thousands of dollars, go to all these courses to do that. But you could just change some of the things you eat, how you live your life, and that can change how you perform in these tests. Isn't that amazing? And they analyzed in this research, they analyzed the guts of nearly 600 people, and they found this out. People with gut microbial diversity, which means lots of different bugs in their gut, right, tend to do better on 6 standardized tests. Very, very important. And several types of bacteria, and these are important: Barnacella and Lactobacillus, and those kinds of species of bugs seem to be giving you better performance. It's not so important to remember the actual names, but you know now that this can be in your control, right? That you can now change the composition, and that could actually lead to incredible results. That's the idea. I'm going to change a little bit to the gut brain axis, right? So appreciate all you guys staying on. Love the engagement. If you have any questions, jump on. If you tell us where you're joining us from, and let us know, why this is important to, that'd be great. The gut brain axis, jumping right into it. Certain nerves, right? Certain nerves connect the brain and the gut. Remember, the largest nerve, the vagus nerve, connects the gut and the brain directly, and the bacteria in the gut can send signals through those nerves into your brain. To me, that's amazing. And think of the gut brain axis as kind of like your old fashioned phone line between your gut and your brain, right? This network of sorts can be really separated into three channels. Really important to understand this, right? One is the nervous system, second is the immune system, and third is the endocrine system. So, nervous system, most of our neurotransmitters are made in the gut microbiome, and 80%, roughly 80% of our immune system is in the gut. So, it's really important. So, when you have a really good microbiome, one that you pay attention to, nourish it well, don't give it a bunch of crap, don't give it pizza every day, or French fries and a burger every day, right? Don't give it a bunch of processed foods, whole, beautiful foods that can really change the entire paradigm. And to me, that will change those three systems: the nervous system, the immune system, the endocrine system. So how do you do that, right? You say, Dr. Nandi, that's great. How do I improve my gut health and mental health? So again, if you're watching, share this with folks. I mean, lots of people come to me and ask me this, and it's really important. One of the best approaches to me in improving the gut and the signaling, right, between the gut and the brain is to do what? You decrease the inflammation. We call it putting out the inflammatory fires by reducing the overall inflammation throughout your body. And studies have shown this, right? That rebalancing the gut brain axis, meaning that taking the gut brain axis and making it more favorable and reducing inflammation can do what? Improve your mind, improve your mental fitness. Super important. You could feel less stressed, right? Who doesn't need that? Be in a super mood, be in a better mood, have focus. A lot of my patients say, I really want to focus more at work. I really want to focus more on my kids, but I tend to I lose it. How many of you are watching are like that? Really, really important to know that when you have the rebalancing of this gut brain axis, super important, you can actually have that sharper focus. You can have what we all need, which is more energy and higher resilience, meaning that, listen, that I'm in Michigan, and one of the biggest things that people in Michigan do is give each other the Michigan hello, which is they extend their middle finger as they're driving by, and that gives you so much stress. You need resilience. You need resilience in your body, right? And for that, your gut brain axis is super important. You can really change the paradigm, become your own health hero. Reversing the inflammation doesn't really happen just like this, right? Everybody's talking about the silver bullet. It doesn't happen overnight. You can really have a good start by reducing what? Stress, physical and psychological stress that can trigger the inflammatory reaction. And what I love is one of the things, and I'll talk to you a little bit more about this. Some of the practices that can help is meditation. And mindfulness meditation is huge. I'm a big fan of it. Research shows that when you reduce stress through meditation, especially through mindfulness meditation, can make your body more resilient, more powerful to against inflammation. Isn't that great? And if you haven't tried meditation before, I will give you a tool at the end of my life. Please stay tuned. That'll really help you with this. It really will help you to be able to get an introduction to that. I also think that's super important with food. Remember, I talked about the 5 pillars of being a health hero. What are they? Having a purposeful life. Number 2 is your food plan, your nutrition plan. Number 3 is movement with purpose, right? Number 4 is community, right? Number 5 is spirituality. And one of the biggest ones I talk about is food. Ultra processed foods, right, contain substances that are extracted from food, like it's like sugar and starch, right? And then and it can be added from other things like hydrogenated fats, and it can be made in some silly laboratory that you don't even know what the heck it is. So things that enhance flavors, right? You think of, oh my gosh, this is great, beef flavored candy, yum, right? But then it's being made in the lab and it's putting all these flavor enhancers, not great. And food colorings, artificial food colorings. I always tell my kids, hey, you know what? If you can avoid artificial food colorings, that would be awesome. So remember, you want to cut back or eliminate it, right? Foods that contain chemical additives and ultra processed foods can really affect the environment of our gut, increased disease, increased inflammation, increased gut permeability or leaky gut. An example of processed foods, if you're watching, again, please share this with a lot of your followers, because we want to be able to get this good information out. We want to reduce these diseases. We want to reduce the burden of mental health that's really taking over our country and the world. So examples of foods that can cause inflammation, right? Canned foods, sugar-coated dried fruits, salted meat products, right? And ultra processed foods include soda, sugary, savory packaged foods, the stuff that really, oh my gosh, I love that. People say, but it really can damage your intestines. Remember to pick whole foods. Remember packaged breads, pastries, fish nuggets, and instant noodle soups. Not my favorite. I always cringe when I see those instant noodle soups. People eat them like crazy, especially in college when you need attention. You need to pay attention to your professors, and you're sitting there eating a bunch of crap. It kills me. So what can you do? Eat, we call it good mood food, right? Healthy heroes eat good mood food. And here's the thing, eating healthy foods make us feel physically energized, and your body will crave it and your body will want it. You want diverse foods, plant diet, plant heavy diet with fermented foods. So foods that are fermented to be able to give you more good bugs. That's what you want, right? And then remember, it's not just one single bug we want. We want to have whole communities of bugs. And this really begins with what? Adding more plant-based fiber in your diet to be able to enhance the microbiome or the gut bugs. Good mood foods to me include whole foods, foods you can see, right? Probiotics with prebiotics, antioxidants, and omega acids. And you want to promote the growth of the good bugs so they can help you, right? It's all like a concert in there. You want the good people, the good bugs that are creating the beautiful, harmonious substances that can help you, the neurotransmitters that can help you. Really important. One example, and we talk about this often, is the Mediterranean diet has been shown to increase the diversity of gut bacteria. I talk about it in my book, Dr. Nandi, Ask Dr. Nandi, 5 steps to living your best life, and we can put a link for that too. But I talk about the Mediterranean diet because it's rich in fruits and veggies, whole grains, nuts, seeds, and lean protein, and low in processed foods. What happens is that with the Mediterranean diet, one of the best diets that help you have a long, beautiful life is that it decreases inflammation. And this inflammation can then lead to what? Increased depression. So when you have things like the Mediterranean diet, it can help you fight depression. It can help you fight anxiety. It can help you fight these things that really plague us. The change in the gut bacteria, get this, can occur, are you ready for it? In less than 24 hours after a change in your diet. So you can get the effects in a day. So super important. These are all powerful tools that health heroes have, right? So important points I want to sum up by saying gut health is important for a lot of reasons, including your mental health. And a better diet can help with things like depression and other mental health disorders. But don't think of food as the only treatment, right? You don't want to stop all your medications. You want to do it in conjunction with, in addition to that, right? You want to make sure that you have to be able to listen to your doctor and do the things you're doing. Just like you can't, exercise out of a bad diet, you also cannot eat your way out of feeling depressed or anxious. Food is not going to be the only answer, but it can be part of a great plan. It's important for you to seek treatment if you're having serious thoughts of suicide, or ideas about harming yourself, you got to get help right away. And if you are right now, if you're watching this, make sure you get help immediately. But the nice thing is, research on the gut brain axis is huge, and it's talking about how this is part of the treatment paradigm. Even 10 years ago, you wouldn't talk about the gut, right, as part of this. And so, and when we know that gut's part of this because it's creating neurotransmitters, we have tools and techniques. And one of the ones that I created, I really wanted an introduction to meditation, right? We talk about meditation, how it can help. And I created this free 7-day guided meditation called Calming the Chaos. It can really help to add balance to your life and relaxation in your life, right? And so I'd love for everyone on this live to be able to download this, see for yourself the beautiful effects of meditation. I created this because I was looking for some help in really being able to get focused and calmness. And now we know that it can actually help you to be able to not only help your gut health but your mind. So I want you all, invite you all to be able to download this Calming the Chaos guide. It can really help make a difference in introducing to you to be able to have meditation in your life. I use it every day, no matter what happens. If I can do even 10 minutes or 15 minutes of it, it's super important. So, but again, thank you so much for joining us. Let me see if I can tackle a couple of questions. And Michelle Toole says, thank you for joining us, Michelle. Does the bad bacteria cause inflammation in your brain? The bad bacteria can increase inflammation and then produce products that can then travel to your brain and really result in some of the problems we're talking about. So very important. Kay McNallen says, when you say mental health, what exactly can poor gut health affect? Anxiety, insomnia, depression, all the above. Remember, mental health is a broad category, right? You can have anxiety, you can have depression, you can have serious disorders like Alzheimer's, and you can have disorders like Parkinson's, and gut health can really affect all of it. That's why I want people to share this, because it is an absolute crisis. Every day I hear about suicides, I hear about people with uncontrolled depression. Now we have a whole armamentarium, right, of not only drugs, but now non-drug therapies that can help. And one of them is to improve your gut health. Josephine Ertel says, yep, my mom had Alzheimer's and my husband's and had Parkinson's. So listen, Josephine, it's critical for you to look at your gut health and really understand what's going on. Really, I think would be important to download the Calming the Chaos. See if we can change that paradigm a little bit. But thank you so much. Oren says, what kind of foods or substances cause anxiety that one should avoid? And we talked about that, right? Processed foods, ultra processed foods can really change the gut. And it can change it to give poor gut health, poor bacterial diversity. So it's really important there. And Josephine, you're right. We need to eat more and grow more fruits and vegetables. So really, really important. And Karen Kritzberg says, is sugar the main villain? It's one of the main villains, Karen. Really good point, especially processed sugar. We need to keep in mind, right? The sugar from having a beautiful apple is very different than the sugar from eating a piece of candy or something like, processed foods like a piece of, bread, for example. White bread is very different than eating an apple. So sugar, especially simple sugars and processed grains, can really be quite the villain, and we should try to get that out of our body. Linda Wilkerson, hello from Arkansas. Yay! Some of my best friends are from Arkansas. Tell us where in Arkansas you're from, but thank you for joining us. And Karen Kritzberg says hello from Georgia. Wonderful. Georgia is another beautiful place. Thank you for joining us. And tell us one of the wonderful things about Georgia is that so many of my patients go from Michigan to Georgia, for vacation in the winter. They always say good things about it. But so thank you for joining us. And then Ronald La Riviere from Montreal, one of our favorite places. Thank you so much. Yeah, that's crazy to give the birthday sign. Yeah, the birthday sign. Thank you, Josephine. You're talking about the Michigan hello now. I appreciate that. And then Callie Nandi, thank you. Callie is always such a great partner, and I'll tell you, to have a partner like that is amazing. And we're excited about growing our own fruit trees, because to me, I love for the kids to understand, how food is grown, what to do about growing food, and we're going to have our own fruit trees. We're learning about them so they can go out there and get their own apple and their own peaches as much as we can do. I want them to understand it and learn about it, not only to improve their own gut health, but to tell others. They tell their students and their fellow colleague students, and they really also get a benefit from that. And Linda says El Dorado to Arkansas. So awesome. Thank you so much, wherever you're from, either in the United States or outside, for joining us. Again, remember, these informational pieces, these lives are only as good as you make them, right? Tell us what you like about them. Tell us what topics you'd like to be talk about. But I will continue next week on the topic of mental health, and really give you some more tips and how gut health can affect mental health. Again, I'll be back next Tuesday at 5:30 Eastern. Share this with your community. Let them know that Dr. Nenny's on live every Tuesday. Until that time, remember, make healthy living a part of every day, and namaste. Thanks so much for joining us.